The Denver Broncos get huge news ahead of the AFC Championship. What is going on, Broncos country? It's your boy Denver Trav back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about all the possibilities with Jarrett Stidham, what Sean Payton can do with backup quarterbacks, and just everything we need to know heading into the AFC Championship. If you enjoyed Denver Broncos content, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps recommend me to more Bronco fans like yourself. The whole world was absolutely heartbroken after the Denver Broncos won the divisional round to advance to the AFC Championship, and we got the news that Bo Nix had broke his ankle and will miss the rest of the postseason. And it's never fun to lose your starting guy that has got you to where you are at this point, which is the AFC Championship, and you have to rely on a backup. However, with the Denver Broncos, you have a guy that is your head coach named Sean Payton that has a beautiful track record as coaching backup quarterbacks when his starting quarterback is down. Let's talk about Sean Payton's track record with what he's done with backup quarterbacks and what he could possibly do with Jarrett Stidham. And this tweet is absolutely right. Broncos Edge put out a tweet saying, I don't think Sean Payton is blinking an eye going forward without Bo. I think that he's sad for Bo Nix because Bo Nix got the Broncos as far. However, I don't think he's going to blink an eye. I think he's thinking, on to the next one. Let's get Jarrett Stidham. Let's scheme up some plays for Stidham to execute. And I think that Stidham could be a very, very sneaky weapon in the postseason, considering that whoever wins out of this Houston and Patriots game doesn't have a solidified Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes under center, and you don't know what they're going to do in the big moments, but we do know what Sean Payton does with backup quarterbacks. Sean Payton has an excellent record with backup quarterbacks, notably going 8-0 with starting a backup quarterback in 2019 to 2020, and has an 8-2 record overall in those stretches with the New Orleans Saints, demonstrating his ability to win even when his main starter, Drew Brees, was injured. In 2019, went 5-0 with a backup as starter. 2020 went 3-1 with a backup as starter. And overall, 2015, 2019, and 2020 went 8-2 in a record when games where the backup started at the quarterback position due to Drew Brees being out. They even asked Alex Smith about Sean Payton and the Broncos possibly still winning the Super Bowl. And Alex Smith said he absolutely thinks the Broncos can still win the Super Bowl. Looking at what Sean Payton has done with backup quarterbacks, Jameis Winston went 5-2 with Sean Payton. Teddy Bridgewater went 5-1. And, you know, Jarrett Stidham is a guy that Sean Payton could absolutely execute with and win games. Like, when we look at this Denver team, you look at how good the defense is. They played the best quarterback remaining in the postseason in Josh Allen yesterday, and they made him turn the ball over 5 times. So they had 5 takeaways against the Bills. I'm not going to say 5 times on him because one was on James Cook. But you know what I'm saying. The Broncos got 5 takeaways against the Buffalo Bills team that probably had the best quarterback left and the best running back left in the entire postseason, and the Broncos were able to beat them in a crunch time game. So I think, you know, when you look at how good that defense is, I think that Jarrett Stidham has a really good opportunity to go far. I'm not going to say, hey, I'm going to lock it in, but I don't think that the drop-off is going to be what everybody thinks, and I'm going to tell you why. Luka Evans put out a tweet today. Sean Payton was asked this morning about history, speaking when quarterbacks go down, all bets are off. Does he have drastically changed his playbook to fit Jarrett Stidham? Payton clearly believes backup quarterbacks can win, pointed to when he had Teddy Bridgewater in 2019 with the Saints, and here's what he said. I don't believe in your opening statement. I understand where it's coming from, but historically speaking, all bets weren't off with Jeff. They weren't off in Philly. When we lost Brees midseason against the Rams and Teddy Bridgewater won 5 in a row, all bets can be off. They weren't off in Houston this year when Davis Mills came in, and I don't know if he lost a game this year either. Now I think the second question is, you're dead on. I think the plans always got to be built around the type of skill set the players have you're playing with. And so there are certain things that Bo does differently than Stiddy, absolutely, and that's where the work begins tonight. So Sean Payton is preparing to get Jarrett Stidham in a situation to win the AFC Championship. Sean Payton said when he had Drew Brees, he doesn't know if a backup quarterback got a crumb during practice. Made it clear backups don't get much run in practice. Added Jarrett Stidham would take reps, especially during the bye week leading up to the playoffs. Generally, in a work week, the reps are limited, and the starter wants them. One of Stiddy's great strengths is his mental aptitude. Adding in practice, he would look at Vance Joseph and be pissed off because Stidham was making the Broncos defense look bad. Davis Webb has been great with the Broncos for the 3 years he's been with them. His next task is a little bit harder than most. It's to get Jarrett Stidham ready for the AFC Championship a week from today. This may be a breaking point for Davis Webb, and I know y'all are going to say, what do you mean by that? And a breaking point in a good way. If Davis Webb coaches up Jarrett Stidham and the Broncos win the AFC Championship with their backup quarterback and he plays a solid game, this is going to be a really good approach for a team that needs a head coach. They're going to be looking at Davis Webb like, hey, man, he elevated Bo Nix when he came to town. He elevated Jarrett Stidham, and he just does an absolute good job with quarterbacks, and that's what a lot of franchises need in this league, is a guy that can advance quarterbacks to that next level. There was also some reports about Sean Payton on Jarrett Stidham, what gives him confidence in Stidham. He said, ultimately, it's our 3 years here and our 3 years watching him day in and day out that you guys don't have access to. He'll be ready to go and ready for the moment. James Palmer said, the number 3 here is important. Sean Payton usually believes it takes 3 years to really take ownership and understand fully his offense. It's why there has been a lot of excitement about Bo Nix in 2026, which would be year 3. Yes, Stidham hasn't played in the system for 3 years, but he's been in for that amount of time, helpful, if nothing less. Former quarterback that played for Sean Payton as a backup, Chase Daniel, talks about how Sean Payton is going to let Stiddy sling it. Don't count the Broncos out just yet. Andrew Mason put out a tweet about Jarrett Stidham where people are basically critiquing what he said when he lost the QB battle. He said, respectfully, you keep getting this wrong. At that moment in August of 2024, Stidham had just lost a potential life-changing QB battle. He's competitive, and he ate. He was raw. But in the Q&A, Stidham also said, I'm going to do whatever I can do to help Bo get prepared, obviously. He's never had a real season like this in the NFL, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help him in whatever way I can. And then also be ready to go if I need to be. And Stidham has done just that. He did it so well with the Broncos. They offered him a contract extension, and those of us who in the locker room regularly know he's not just a respectable teammate, but beloved. No one knows how next week is going to go, and the reality is that the odds aren't in the Broncos' favor. In having to make a QB change this late and go to the Super Bowl, they're trying to pull off something historic. But they will play their asses off for the guy slinging the passes, just as they have for Bo Nix. And that's absolutely beautiful that Andrew Mason put this out there. I think that that's very, very accurate from what I've heard about Stidham. Just a great teammate, a great leader, and a great friend, and is loved by all. However, Susie put out a tweet that kind of added on to it that just made me smile even more. Susie said 100% what May said. Jarrett isn't a scorned backup. Instead, he's involved in everything. During games, he is constantly talking with Bo, Sam, and Davis Webb. During the week, we see him joking with teammates and playing music. A few weeks ago, I did a pregame story on New Year's resolution and asked Stiddy what he would like to improve on after the season. He quickly said golf game. He golfs regularly with Mike McGlinchey, Will Lutz, Cortland Sutton, Bo, and Sam, and Michael Bandy. He loves being the vibe guy and bringing the energy. He said, I'm the worst one at playing golf, but vibes will be high on my card, so whoever I'm with will have a fun time. He is beloved by his teammates, and they'll all rally around him and rally for Bo, and hopefully the Broncos win the AFC Championship. In one huge advantage, whoever wins this Houston versus Patriots game will have a very, very hard time figuring out what to expect from backup quarterback Jarrett Stidham. There's no film on him. He's only taken one snap this year, which was a kneel down in the Dallas Cowboys game. But the last time we seen Jarrett Stidham was against the Arizona Cardinals in the preseason. He threw for 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, had a 69.9% completion percentage, and just had a really good game. Beat the Cardinals 27-7. However, that is the preseason. This is the AFC Championship. There's levels to this, but all I'm going to say is if you're a Broncos fan, you need to rally behind number 8. Get in your groove of rooting for Jarrett Stidham, and we need to win this thing for 10. If you enjoy Broncos content, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and go Broncos.